Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Tina Marie, and today we're joined by Chef Jennifer Carroll of Carroll Couture Cuisine in Philadelphia. Delighted to have you here,
Thank you so much for having me. It's really appreciate it.
For you to be here. I know you've had some really life-altering experiences in the last several years.
Yes, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Working for Chef Ripert, leaving him and going on Top Chef and doing multiple charity events and traveling. It's just been a lot of fun lately.
Yes, and you have a new project that we're going to talk about, but most notably you're going to show us your skill with seafood today.
Yes, so what we're going to be making is an olive oil poached salmon. It's going to be lightly poached in the rosa olive oil, and where the sauce is going to be a verjus with a little bit of ginger oil and some olives and onion and fennel and oranges.
Great, so there's some great techniques that we're going to be learning today, which is really nice, which we really like to highlight in the show.
Everything is really simple that you can do at home, and it's very healthy. There's no butter in this dish at all. There's a lot of Mediterranean flavors, influences coming in.
Good.
So, should we start?
I think we shall. So olive oil poached salmon. What is are we going to start with the salmon or are we going to start with the oil?
We're going to start with the oil because we want to infuse a little bit of flavor into the oil. So instead of just doing it in the straight up olive oil, we want to get some of the flavor. And we are actually going to use some of the cilantro and basil and garlic going into the rosa olive oil.
So you need all three of them, Chef?
Please.
We have our Dorot, crushed garlic, chopped basil, and chopped cilantro. We love how they come in these individually packed cubes.
I love
Isn't
it
this
too.
great?
It's simple and it makes going prep time so much faster.
And we can store them in the freezer. Up to 2 years they last, which is
It's
fantastic.
wonderful. It's crazy. So if you could, I had just turned the oil on. The oil's on low right now. If you can pop one of each cube into the pan, it would be great.
I would be happy to, Chef. So, the owners of Dorot actually own the fields where these herbs come from, so there is a lot of attention paid to the quality and the freshness, fresh from the field, they like to say. So it's really nice. It's actually fresher than getting herbs from your produce department.
I love it, and how simple they pop out.
I know it.
And put them back away and ready for another day.
Exactly, and they stack well in your freezer. Just great. And we did no chopping just now.
No chopping, and we're just going to add a little bit of seasoning, salt, and pepper to the oil.
So this is our poaching liquid.
This is our poaching liquid, what the salmon is going to go into. We're going to bring this up to about 62 degrees Celsius, or 100 to 120 Fahrenheit.
Do you use a thermometer to check, or is it you judge?
You can use a thermometer at home. I'm used to working with this a lot. If I like to be able to stick my finger in, and then I know it's going to be cooking nice and softly.
Okay.
And
at what point do you know that it's ready? Like when you really have to pull back your finger?
Yeah, when it's too hot, we want the salmon to cook nice and lightly. We're going to make the ginger oil, which we're going to infuse into the sauce, which is a verjus sauce. So if you would like to help me peel and chop up some ginger.
Great.
We're going to add it to the olive oil.
So essentially this is a ginger-infused olive oil.
It's a ginger-infused olive oil. Now I like to make this 1 or 2 days ahead of time.
Okay.
But very, very simple.
And again, we're using our rosa olive oil, which is a Philadelphia tradition, family company for generations, and we've used their products for quite a while.
It's great quality, great flavor.
You're from Philadelphia.
I'm from Philly.
Born and bred.
That's right.
Right? And you actually became famous for that on Top Chef.
Yes.
Right?
The Philadelphia attitude definitely shows in myself and my competitive spirit.
That was great, though. You really stood out, and you really showed your unique character. And people liked it. People liked the fire and the passion.
I hope so.
When you're in the kitchen, you know, you're under a lot of stress, and especially working in Top Chef, that the situations are manipulated so that you are under the greatest amount of stress.
It's really crazy how much stress you are really under, and it's a lot harder than it looks when you're sitting at home watching it on TV. I remember I used to watch the show and be like, oh my gosh, how can they not be doing this? How do they not think of this? But it's stressful and scary, and you're tired, and there's cameras following you around, which you're not used to.
Yes.
So it's definitely a crazy experience.
What take-home lessons did you learn from that experience?
I learned that I have a lot of confidence in myself and in my food, and that I can really come up with dishes quickly on the fly and be creative and still have the technique down. But also with the other competitors that were on my season, they're doing a lot of modern techniques, which I haven't done too much of, so it's really inspired me to become a better chef and to learn more about that.
That's interesting. You actually learned from your colleagues working in an environment like that.
Yep.
And an experience that in many times you don't get. And if you're working in your own restaurant, you're sort of maybe in a microcosm in some ways.
Right.
But it gave you a chance to really get out there.
Experience something new.
Cooked something from the show? Went to a restaurant that you loved? Found a place serving innovative cocktails or impressive wine? Become a fan of the Chef's Kitchen on Facebook and share your thoughts. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
Now, as you can see, the oil started to come up a little bit, so it's pretty much ready to go. So we'll just let it relax until we're ready to go with the
And essentially
salmon.
with this, you just chopped it up really fine and put it into the olive oil. And again, typically you said you would let it sit for maybe 2 or 3 days.
For about 2 or 3 days, and this will keep in your refrigerator for up to 3 weeks. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the salmon.
The salmon.
Yep. So you can get the salmon from any of your fish markets.
And do you have the skin on? No, you skinned it.
I take the skin off.
Okay.
I took the bloodline out, and all of the pin bones are out already. You can go to your market and ask your butcher to take care of it and portion it up for you however you like. I'm going to do about nice 4-ounce pieces. We're just going to cut it straight down.
Okay, now a piece of salmon this size, how many people would you typically feed?
This will be about 2 people.
Okay.
And from here, if you want to add a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper.
Would love to. Any particular type of salt that you like to use, Chef?
I use fine sea salt.
Yeah, I was noticing this is fine. And most recently, you spent a lot of time developing 10 Arts.
Yes.
At the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here in Philadelphia, an absolutely stunning restaurant, stunning building.
Thank you. And, you know, working at the Ritz-Carlton was so great, a lot of fun, and just amazing group and corporation to work for.
So is it important to let the salmon sit with the seasoning?
I like
For a
to
little
have
bit?
the salmon room temperature, so it cooks nice and evenly throughout. So
Okay.
you're not cooking the outside and the inside still be cold. Oranges. Have you ever done orange supremes before?
Never done orange juice supremes. This will be a first.
Do you want to try?
Would love to.
You want to grab one of your knives? You come over. So the
Should I
first
grab
thing,
a bigger knife or is this
No,
okay?
whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
So the first thing, I like to cut off both sides of it. And you want to go a little further in so you're getting more
Okay,
of the
nice.
orange. Yep.
The actual interior.
So then you have less to
Roll
peel
around?
away, yeah. And now we're going to go around the outside and peel off all of this peel and the pith. We don't want any of the white pith on there because that will lead to a little bit of bitterness.
Okay, great.
Pretty easy, don't you think?
I think it's very easy, actually. Just your attention to detail, good knife skills. Were there any mishaps when you were working on Top Chef? Because you're working very quickly. Did
Working
anyone
very
get
quickly.
injured? Or, I mean, the chances of that happening are so great when you're under so much stress.
And the first episode, we did a oyster shucking.
Oh,
and one of
all
the
things.
girls really got herself pretty bad and
Really?
was bleeding really badly. So, I mean, yeah, I've nicked myself here and there on the show, but you just have to keep going, get it taped up and put a glove on and keep on working like nothing happened.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, wasn't there, I think I remember reading, wasn't there an incident with one of your chefs getting injured at the, like at a tense part
Yes.
of one of the competitions?
My partner was working, and as soon as we got 5 minutes into the competition, the knife slipped and went right into her hand, and she left and actually went to the hospital. And it was, so then it was...
So it was just you?
It was just me.
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
interesting. So, okay.
Yes, back to here, as we're talking about
Back to
injuries here.
We're going to go, you're going to take your knife, and you can see
The
where
lines?
the lines are.
Yes.
So that will be each one. And you want to go in at a little bit of an angle on both sides, and then it should just
So on
pop
both
right
sides,
out.
so on this side as well.
We have a few that are done already that we can just add to
Excellent.
the bowl. We're gonna drop the salmon now, so it'll be ready to go by the time we are done with the sauce.
Okay, so just dropped right into the poaching liquid.
Dropped it nice and lightly. Let's move over to the other board.
Certainly.
We're gonna do some fennel and some olives together. If you want to start quartering the olives,
Sure.
I'll do some fennel. And then we'll get the sauce going.
How many years, Chef, did you work with Chef Eric Ripert?
About 8 years,
One of the finest chefs in the world.
yes.
And you actually, did you start at Le Bernardin?
I was at Le Bernardin for 5 years. Now, everyone at Le Bernardin, no matter what your experience is, you start at the bottom. So you go in and you work on garde manger and you move your way up through the ranks. And I made it up to sous chef before he asked me to come home to Philadelphia and take over his restaurant, which was just an amazing opportunity for me.
It's a great honor, especially it being your hometown.
Exactly. Now, I like to cut my fennel nice and super thin and then put it into a little bit of ice water so it crisps up. He taught me so much. He taught me technique. He taught me, how to find the balance within food and to believe in myself and be really confident with what I'm doing.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
So I'm going to start working on the sauce. What we're using is verjus. So verjus
Tell me about verjus.
is the fermented grape juice. Now there's some from Pinot Noir grapes. The one we're using today is All Sangiovese.
Okay.
So we're just going to add a little bit of the verjus to the pot.
So it's not wine.
It's not wine, it's not fermented, so there's no alcohol in it.
Okay.
So it's basically grape juice. If you can't find verjus in the grocery store, you can use a grape juice, whether
Is it-
it's white grape juice or
That's good to know. So
or
that's a good
Concord
supplement.
grapes, whatever you like.
Or substitute. Okay, great.
So we're adding a little bit of seasoning to it.
Now that you're back
Yes.
in the city where you grew up, now what is next for Jennifer Carroll?
Well, at the moment, I have my own business, Carroll Couture Cuisine, that I'm doing private events in people's homes and doing restaurant consulting, helping out restructuring menus, so on and so forth. So from here, we're going to bring this up to a boil, and here's the ginger oil that we had. And we're going to grate a little bit of orange peel into the verjus also.
Have any ideas for possibly opening a restaurant?
I'm in the process of opening a restaurant here in Center City. Now, name and location. Keep your ears and eyes open.
TBD, to be determined.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, good. What kind of concept are you considering?
It's going to be mainly seafood, small plates, open kitchen, full liquor license, and just a lot of fun. Very, very affordable. Approachable so my guests can come back. I want to be a neighborhood place where you come in
Okay.
and just feel at home and have some fun. We're up to a boil. I'm going to add the ginger oil. So we want to get a good amount of ginger and then a little bit of the olive oil. And we're not going to do a typical emulsion, which you may think I'm going to leave it a little bit broken because I like the way it looks on the plate.
Right.
And it feels a little bit lighter, I think, but the olive oil does give it an unctuous flavor. It develops like that luxurious, voluptuous feeling in your mouth. So we're going to give this a little taste, but this is basically the sauce.
Oh, that was very simple.
So simple.
What do you think?
It's great. Maybe a little more seasoning. I'm going to add a little bit more ginger also.
Wow, the sweetness
Right? And
is really great.
very fresh.
Sweet, fresh, not heavy at all, very light.
You know what would actually be good in here? Maybe a little bit more of the cilantro. We're gonna check the fish right now.
Now you need some cilantro, correct?
Yes, if you could add it right into the sauce, that would be great.
This right here?
Yep.
Okay. Just one?
Just one should be
Okay.
more than enough. Now what I'm going to do now, you can do at home. You can use a toothpick or a skewer, but I just go right in, and then I feel it either on my wrist or here to make sure
This
that
is
it's
a
warmed all the way through.
Great technique.
So be careful if it's a little too hot.
Yeah.
You may burn your lips, so you might want to go on your wrist
Use
first.
your wrist. It's not noticeable.
Yes. So this right now we're at a nice medium, which is I think how most people like to eat it. I like to
Perfect.
eat my salmon more on the rare side.
Yes.
But I think Philadelphia tends to go a little bit more.
So you actually insert it in the thickest part of the salmon.
Correct.
Okay.
Into the very center. You want to make sure, because that's where you don't want to serve fish cold.
Yes.
Unless it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's a sushi. Right?
Exactly.
That's a great technique for us to remember.
So we're pretty much ready to go.
Okay.
We're gonna start.
Did you want the plate
Plating
to
up.
start plating the meal?
Yeah, that would be great.
All right.
Let's see. We can go right here.
Very good. I think I'll pour us some wine too. We have some
Perfect.
delicious wine from our director that we can enjoy today with your salmon.
So, and one of the reasons also is to have a little blotting towel, whether it's a paper towel or a linen, so you
Yes.
can get off the excess oil so it's not going all over and mixing in with your sauce.
That's an excellent tip. Since you're poaching in oil, it probably has a lot that will pool.
Yeah, I need to taste this before. We're gonna do a little bit of fresh lemon on top.
Could you cook other seafood this way?
Oh yeah, you can do striped bass, you can do tuna, scallops, crab, anything you like. So we're just gonna go right in the center of the plate. We have a little extra that maybe you can eat after the show. You can have
Why
lunch.
not? The crew looks hungry.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the chef's kitchen. We now return to the chef's kitchen.
Now we're gonna take the black olives that you did for us. A little
And the
bit of the fennel.
Which stayed nice and crisp.
Right. And where are the oranges?
Classic combination, fennel, orange, olive salad.
Yep, and a little bit of the fronds of the fennel to mix in. We're gonna do a little bit of seasoning, some salt and pepper, and we're gonna go a little bit of the ginger oil too onto here.
Very nice.
We're gonna give it a quick toss. I'm gonna taste everything. And now we're going to plate.
Excellent. Do you like a lot of time to plate? Are you into the aesthetic of the plate, or do you like a more casual presentation of your food?
I believe I like to take my time plating. I believe you do eat with your eyes first, but having family style rustic is totally fine and fun sometimes too.
Sure.
We're just gonna go a little bit of everything around and on. I like to put everything on top of the fish too, because then your guests know to eat it all together. That's one of, I feel so bad when you think
Yes.
so much about creating a dish and people eat things separately and you want them to, even know how
Taste
pretty
everything.
it looks, you want them to taste everything together.
Yes.
So, I mean,
This is a way of inviting them to do that.
right. This is, super simple plating right now. And we're just going
It
to
looks very picturesque.
sauce the fish and the plate. And that's it, and we're ready to go. We're ready
Excellent.
to eat.
That was very simple, actually. I like that method. I've never done it at home before, but you were saying that you could do it with all kinds of seafood, so I think it's one to try.
Yeah, it's, as you can see, I mean, you saw how simple everything was.
I know. Well, the Dorot herbs made a lot of things simple too. It took a lot of our chopping time.
We did this so quickly.
I know.
Like to get a good amount of sauce. And that's it.
Excellent. So are we ready to take it over to the tasting table?
We are.
Please have a glass of wine.
Thank you very much. And white wine goes perfectly with this dish.
Oh, absolutely. Toast
Cheers.
to you, Chef Jennifer Carroll, and your new project coming up, and welcoming you back to the city.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
It's been a joy, and can't wait to taste your food.
Thank you.
Okay,
Ready?
ready. So here, please take a fork and a knife. We
Thank
have
you.
delicious oil-poached salmon, olive oil-poached salmon. Beautiful olives and some fennel. Very clean tasting dish. The
And you-
sauce has such a rich sweetness to it.
And you see how like light and flaky the salmon is
Oh,
too.
it's-
It's just full
It's
of flavor.
cooked perfectly and so smooth, such a smooth texture
Mm-hmm.
by olive poaching it.
Yeah, this rosa olive oil is really delicious.
Tasty, delicious, light. Really a wonderful dish. And nice to see a new technique.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Chef, thank you so much for joining us on the Chef's Kitchen today. It's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you. I can't wait to
Hope
see
you
you in
come
my
back.
new restaurant.
You bet. We'll keep our eyes and ears open.
Please.
Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Chef.
Cheers.
Cooked something from the show? Went to a restaurant that you loved? Found a place serving innovative cocktails or impressive wine? Become a fan of the Chef's Kitchen on Facebook and share your thoughts.
Tony Clark is back. This Jersey boy is turning out his culinary creations at the Old Grange by Tony Clark and Cape May. Superlative food, excellent service, and a house vineyard make this a foodie's dream.
Craft services provided by Garces Trading Company, a European-style gourmet market where you can enjoy delicious bistro fare in a bright, airy setting. Flowers on the set provided by Nature's Gallery Florist, distinctive floral arrangements with European flair.
Great dinners start with Rosa Food Products, Italy's best-kept secret for over 100 years. Founded in 1900 by Giacomo Foti, Rosa Food Products is a trusted leader in the specialty food industry, providing oils, tomatoes, pastas, as well as other fine Italian and ethnic food products from all over the world. Visit them online today at www.rosafoods.com to view over 100 different products that can be shipped directly to your home. Rosa is the quality that you can taste.
It was really great coming and being on the Chef's Kitchen. It's a lot of fun coming and cooking in this beautiful apartment. I wish I had this kitchen at my house. Just easy and is fun for me to share my talents with the rest of the world.